ॐ सहनाववतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहैः। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। समस्त जन कल्याणे निरतं करुणामयं नमामि चिन्मयं देवं सद्गुरुं ब्रह्म विद्वरं सद्गुरुं ब्रह्म विद्वरम्। ॐ शन्नो मित्रः शं वरुणः शन्नो भवत्वर्यमा शन्न इन्द्रो बृहस्पतिः शन्नो विष्णुरुक्रमः नमो ब्रह्मणे नमस्ते वायो त्वमेव प्रत्यक्षं ब्रह्मासि त्वमेव प्रत्यक्षं ब्रह्म वदिष्यामि ऋतं वदिष्यामि सत्यं वदिष्यामि तन्मामवतु तद्वक्तारमवतु अवतु माम् अवतु वक्तारम्। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। ॐ सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्। ॐ श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानाम् आलयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पाद शङ्करं लोकशङ्करम्। ॐ ब्रह्मानन्दं परमसुखदं केवलं ज्ञानमूर्तिं द्वन्द्वातीतं गगनसदृशं तत्त्वमस्यादिलक्ष्यम् एकं नित्यं विमलमचलं सर्वधी साक्षिभूतं भावातीतं त्रिगुणरहितं सद्गुरुं तं नमामि सद्गुरुं तं नमामि सद्गुरुं तं नमामि। Hari Om. Welcome to the last session of this Vivek Chudamani series. We will start with the Mangalacharanam, the first shlokam. Sarva Vedanta Siddhanta Gocharam Tama Gocharam Govindam Paramanandam Sadgurum Pranayosmyaham. You may have to mute the person who is doing. Thank you. So far we have seen the preciousness of life, and then this human birth itself is such a rarity, and then in that we said Manushyatvam, Mumukshutvam, Mahapurusha Samshrayah. These three things are extremely difficult to get. That is, to have the human birth, and then to have the humane qualities in that, and then to be associated with such a beautiful, tradition of being able to get this ultimate knowledge, which is the knowledge to gain. All the other things are all like chutney. If there is no main food and only chutney is served, then what will you do with the chutney? Some people have a lot of liking for chutney, so they may eat, but then the stomach will not take it for a long time. So we all know the main food is only this. All the other things are chutneys, but in life we are forgetting. In life, what we are thinking is chutney is the main thing. So all the other pursuits in our life become very much more important than this. And that is what is being told here again and again. Yeah. So in order to gain this knowledge, it was told to us that realization is the only solution. Yeah. We have to get somehow or the other, by hook or by crook, we have to get realized. So now it also told us how we should not waste our life in all the other pursuits. And after that, we saw what a fit student is, what are his qualifications, what is a competent teacher's, what are his qualifications, and how should a student approach the teacher. That also Guru Upasadana Vidhi also we saw. And then after having approached the teacher, the student very politely asks the 7 questions. So right now, we all will chant the 7 questions, and I hope you all have learnt it by heart by now. Ko nama bandha kathamesha agataha katham pratisthasya katham vimokshaha ko savanatma paramakka atma tayor viveka kathametadujyatam. Sorry, it was 49th shlokam. Sorry, some of you were looking for it. 49th shlokam, but next time, you will know. Okay, now, when the questions were asked, he was not told that you can choose any 4 or 3 of them. All the questions were compulsory for the teacher to answer. But the teacher had the, he had the choice to choose whichever he wanted first. So he took the first question as what is the difference between Atma and Anatma. So the first question was, Ko nama bandhaha, what is bondage and where did it come from? How does it stay and how to get rid of it? How to get moksha from it? And then what is Atma? What is that Anatma? And then how to tell the difference between them. So he took the question of what is Atma, what is Anatma. First he took Anatma in very great detail. He told us what all constitute the whole of the anatomy, gross body was first analyzed, and then how it cannot be me, how it's made up of the elements, etc. Then how the subtle body is made up of all the pancha jnanendriyas, pancha karmendriyas, and then pancha pranas, and then the manobuddhi ahankara chittam. All these things cannot be me. And then the causal body, which consists of Maya, which is the 3 gunas, Rajas, Tamas, and Sattva, that also is not me. Then what am I? No, that was the question. And then we said that Atma is me, Tattvamasi. Through that, he proved that you are that and that alone. So after that, he also told us how to get rid of the bondage and what is bondage, how has it come, this ajnana, how has it come and how does it stay? How does it stay? You and I water it nicely. We just love to be, in this worldly attachment only. We don't want to come out. So he says nicely you're watering it like that plant, and then you're taking care of it, that it becomes more and more, janma after janma after janma. It has become so, we have become so accustomed to being in bondage that we don't even know. So which is a very, very sad state of affairs, because when you get used to all these negativities, you don't even know that you are in the negativity. So that is the import of it. So what is bondage, how to get rid of it, and then what is moksha? Everything has been told. After having told us all these things, then he said, once Tattvamasi has been told, this Tattva has to be now meditated in the heart cave. Yesterday we saw that. And why do we have to meditate on that? Because Tattvamasi, you are that. But right now we are not able to comprehend that. We have only done the Shravanam. Shravanam and Mananam alone is not enough. To own it up, you have to do meditation regularly. So all these beautiful 10 shlokas are there on meditation, which we had started yesterday. With the first one we had started. So let us chant that first, that is 254th shlokam, which is the first 8 to meditation. Jati niti kula gotra duragam Nama rupa guna dosha varjitam Deshakala Vishayati Vartiyat Brahma Tattvamasi Bhavayatmani. Brahma Tattvamasi Bhavayatmani. So, in that it said that you are not what you think you are. The jati, the kula that you have born in, your gotra, all these things are all extraneous. You are far, far, far beyond all that. Jati, niti, kula, gotra, duragam. Means you are very, 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 very far away from that. The caste, creed, and all the family, the lineage, you are beyond all that. And then the second, Nama, Rupa, Guna, Dosha, Varjitam. Name, form, all attributes, and then the negativities. None of this can touch you. None of this is you. You are beyond. You are devoid of that. Desha, Kala, Vishaya, Ativarti. You are beyond time, space, and causality. You are in, it is all pervading, that Brahman is all pervading. You are Desha, Kala, Vishaya, Ativartitam. Then what are you? Brahma Tattvam alone you are. I am that Brahman alone. So this is what you have to keep on again and again and again reasserting. As you sit down for meditation, the mind keeps starting to slip and then starts thinking of other things. You have to bring it back. And Gurudev says that each day you can take one shloka so that there will be variety for you. You can't keep on remembering all the time one thing, then you get used to it and then you don't remember, you can't even pay attention. So this is a beautiful way of knowing different things, so that one day I meditate on this shloka, the other day I meditate on another shloka. So this is a beautiful thing. And in the 316th page of this book, Gurudev finishes that first, this 254th verse with a beautiful paragraph. We all should read that and try to understand it. Kind of scary to read that, but let us read it. The burial ground is creeping towards you every moment. There is no time to waste on regretting your past or being anxious for your future. Contemplate upon these ideas from now onwards. Let your hands and legs function, but let a part of your mind steadily hold on to the idea of the divine essence in you. Okay, so do other things, but always have this in the background. Like a good musician, in the background, the Shruti keeps on going. You don't even have to remember. The Shruti is there for you to give you the octave. So whatever you are singing in, it is there. So a good musician will never leave it. It will always be there. Like that, whatever you do, let this be in the background of your mind, that I am that Brahman, I am that Brahman, I am that Brahman alone. Yeah. So that is the idea. Now let us go to the 255th shlokam. Yat param sakala vaga gocharam gocharam vimala bodha chakshushaha Shuddha chidghana manadi vastu yat Brahma tattvamasi bhavayatmani. Together. Yat param sakala vaga gocharam gocharam vimala bodha chakshushaha Shuddha chidghana manadi vastu yat Brahma tattvamasi bhavayatmani. Brahma tattvamasi bhavayatmani. So, meditate on that Brahman, which you already are. You are that Brahman. Meditate on that. Which Brahman is that? Yat Param. That which is Param. So, Param, whenever we hear this word Param, it means Desha, Kala, Vastu, Aparichinnam. Param means that which is not conditioned by either the time or the space or the objectivity. That is the meaning of the limitation. No, the limitation of time, space, causality is not there. Limitation of time is at one particular time, it is not there. And then at some point, like when we say I have a birthday, yeah, so that means I was not there before my birth. And then I will have a, let us not say, the other day. Yeah, whatever. So then after that, I will not be there. Yeah. So this is not like that. That it is not, it was not there before, now it is there, and it shall not be there. It's not time bound. It is always there. The limitation of space means that this is there at one place. Like here, I'm sitting in Ann Arbor. I'm not in Pittsburgh. You are sitting in Pittsburgh, and you are not here. So limited by the space also. So then when it is moved from A to B, that means it is not in B. Something when it says that I move from A to B, I'm not there already. So this is not limited like that. It is all pervading. It is everywhere. Object-wise limitation means when a given thing is one thing and it is not another thing. Yeah? It is not like if I say that this is a rose, but rose is not a lotus. So that is called as objectivity. So it can be only one object. It cannot be something else. So object-wise limitations. So desha, kala, vishaya, all these things, it is beyond all that. And then it says, why is this Brahman not time bound? There is no time when it is not there. And other thing, actually time exists in it. No. One Swami beautifully said, time ka bhi baap hai. Means time has come from it. So it cannot be called as, there is no time in it. It is beyond time because time has come from it. Yeah. So the space came from it. Yeah. So anyatra bhutacha bhavyacha yattat pashyati. It comes in the Upanishads. So the concept of space exists in this Brahman. So when we say Brahman is everywhere, what we think is that the space is everywhere and wherever space is, Brahman is. No, it's not like that. Brahman is and then the space is in it. Okay, so it is slightly different. So actually the concept of space and time together, they rise in this consciousness and they disappear in consciousness only. So it is the very substratum for the space and time and also object-wise. Okay, so anything made of clay will be made of only clay. It cannot have gold in it. Yeah, so something like that. So object-wise also, there is no cause and effect. It is, that's all. So it is beyond all that. And then sakala vag agocharam, it is beyond any words that can be used to express it. It is beyond all descriptions. In the beautiful, in the Upanishad, it says, yato vacho nivartante aprapya manasasaha. Having reached it, the words just fall flat. They cannot explain it because whatever you say becomes limited. When you say something, it becomes limited. This is limitless, which can be only understood when you start meditating on it, and then it dawns on you. The meanings just come to you. So vachoha vacham, it is the word, it is the speech of the speech. All those things we have heard in all the different in different Upanishads. Gocharam vimala bodha chakshushaha. It is agocharam. That means it cannot be reached with any of our sense organs or organs of action. But gocharam vimala bodha chakshushaha. Gocharam, but it becomes known. For who? It says vimala bodha chakshushaha. The one who has got the eye of pure knowledge. Okay, so when you say it becomes known to a person with the eye of pure knowledge, it is not as an object, but it is very clear to him as his own very subject. It is not an object of knowledge, but it is the very subject. What is I? What is this I that I'm talking about? It becomes very clear to this person. Okay, so words cannot describe it objectively. They only can give indicative definitions. Okay, Shuddha Chit Ghanam. So there are no words to be used. Shuddha Chit Ghanam. It is a mass of pure consciousness. Pure consciousness, which illumines all our experiences, which is there all the time in our waking, dream, deep sleep. All the time it is there. Shuddha Chit Ghanam. Anadi Vastu. That which is Anadi, beginningless, also means which is causeless. That Brahman you are. So when you sit down, each word should come to your mind and just try to see the meaning. Don't start analyzing. Read it first and then completely understand it and then absorb it. If there are any questions, ask questions and then get them cleared. When we sit down for meditation, if you start analyzing, then meditation won't happen. You just have to see the words. As you see the words, then you glide into it. Yeah. Otherwise, the mind will start working. Once the mind gets busy, then you are caught in that. So the mind should not be there. So you just see as it is said, the meaning is seen, and then somehow it happens. And that is again, as we said yesterday, it is Guru's grace, it is the Lord's grace, Dhatu Prasadat. Yesterday we used that word. So this is the way to meditate upon this. So when the Guru says Tattvamasi, that you are, oh, that I am. So it is Sakala Vag Agocharam, or whether it is Chit Shuddha Chit Ghanam or Anadi Vastu, every word, all of its meaning is, when you write, Sakala Vag Agocharam is equal to I. Shuddha Chit Ghanam equal to I. Whatever it is said, that I am. All the meanings come to I. There is nothing else but I alone. Yeah. So once you understand this, then it becomes very, very easy. So you can just have one shloka. The first shloka you can do, or if the second shloka is more appealing, take the second shloka. There can be varieties. Yeah. So this is the second. The third one, we won't take all of them, but some of them will take and then see whatever is appealing to you. Going to the 256th shloka. Shadbhirurmibhira yogi yogi hrit. Bhavitam na karanair vibhavitam. Buddhya vedya manavadya masti yat. Brahma tattvamasi bhavayatmani. Together. Shadbhirurmibhira yogi yogi hrit. Bhavitam na karanair vibhavitam. Buddhya vedya manavadya masti yat. Brahma tattvamasi bhavayatmani. Meditate on that Brahman, Brahma Tattvamasi, which you are. Yeah? And what is that Brahman? Here it says, Shadbihi Urmibihi Ayogi. So Ayogi means that which is not united. That which is not yoga. Yoga means yuj, to unite. That which is not united with, that which is not associated with. Shadbihi Urmibihi. The 6 waves of sorrow. The 6 waves of sorrow all these, the 6 waves of sorrow, we have seen it in Kathopanishad, we have seen many, many times. So, when in Kathopanishad, when the Swarga Loka is described, it says, Swarga Loke bhayam kinchan asti. Na tatra tvam jaraya bibheti ubhe tirtva ashanaya pipase shokatigo modate sarvaloke. So, at that time, we have already seen how in Swargaloka, there is no, there are no 6 types of sorrows. What are the 6 types of sorrows? At the prana level. At the prana level, first let us say physical level. At the body level. At the physical level, it is jara, old age, marana, death. So these are the 2 things that always bother us. Old age and death. At the prana level, ashana, pipasa. Ashana, pipasa means hunger and thirst. These are the 2 that always bother us. And then at the, or chudha, pipasa also. Both of them mean the same thing. And then at the mind level, shoka and moha. Shoka and moha means delusion and shoka means grief. Yeah? So delusion and grief. So that's why we say that this is beyond all of them. So Shadbihi, Urmibihi, Ayogi means Brahman is that which is untouched by all these six things that we are talking about all the time. So Shadbihi, Urmibihi, Ayogi, but Yogi Hrit Bhavitam. So the words play on the words Ayogi and then comes Yogi. Brahman is Bhavitam, is meditated upon Yogi Hrit by the yogis in their own heart. Yeah. So Yogi Bihi Hridakashe Bhavitam. In that heart cave, in that space of heart, people meditate on this. At the same time, na karanair vibhavitam. Again, the play, play of the words, bhavitam and vibhavitam, ayogi and yogi, like that, the words are so beautiful. Karanaihi na vibhavitam. It is not manifest to any of the karanas. Karanas means sense organs. You cannot see, you cannot taste, you cannot touch, you cannot smell. All these things are not there. It's not possible except through meditation. You cannot know this. Chakshusha na pashyati, shrotrena na shrunoti. You cannot hear, etc., etc. That which is not manifest to any of the sense organs, but that which is meditated upon by the yogis in their own heart as their own self. That is me, myself. That Brahman is not united with the forms of, there are no sorrows in that. There is no wave of any sorrow. Buddhi avedyam, it is not an object of knowledge of intellect. Through intellection, you cannot, I argue and I try to understand. Nothing, even that cannot be had. So the way the intellect knows all other things, that's why we sometimes you just wonder, but he is so smart, how come he is not realized? We think like that. The more smart you are, sometimes you feel your intellect becomes so analytical that you cannot even get this. Sometimes all the villagers are enjoying something, and then people like, who have studied and all, they cannot get it. It is amazing. So, anavadyam astiyat. It is free from any blemish. It is pure, stainless, unpolluted. Yeah. So, what is that? You? Are you? Me? Yes. So, it is that which you are. How much praise can you get? It? Somebody said, people keep on praising. But all these things, just praising only, you can just see, the whole, our whole life is just what a beautiful thing that you can really you can feel that, and you can live that once you get it. So, and it's not difficult. The only thing is we have to put our mind and soul into it, and it definitely comes. Yeah. So meditate, and then meditate, and then what? Meditate. So you have to keep on doing that only. So when Gurudev used to teach these shlokas, it used to be so funny. You know, when one shloka is over, he'll just stop and look at every one of us to see if any change has taken place. Nothing. Okay, nothing. All right. Let us go to the next one. So let us try the next one. So this he used to keep on teasing us like that. And all of us are only busy taking some notes down and not really getting the point. You know? So it is really very, very rare people who can immediately, as it is told, you can just understand what it is. Yeah. So Brahma Tattvam Asmi iti bhavayami. I'm meditating as I am that alone. Yeah. So and you have to keep on as you see, you have to respond to it. You just understand that. Okay. All right. So we did 256. So we did 254, 255, 256. We are now going to 259. Okay. But then we'll chant the rest of them also. So that you will know the meaning. You can just know the meaning. I won't go through the whole thing. We won't have much time. So going to the 257th verse, chanting. Bhranti kalpita jagat kalashrayam swashrayam cha sadasad vilakshanam Nishkalam nirupamanavadhiyat Brahma tattvamasi bhavayatmani. Together. Bhranti kalpita jagat kalashrayam swashrayam cha sadasad vilakshanam Nishkalam nirupamanavadhiyat Brahma tattvamasi bhavayatmani. And you can see Gurudev's explanation, that which is the substratum for the whole universe and its various aspects, which are all due to delusion, which supports itself, which is other than the gross or the subtle, which has no parts and truly has no comparison, that Brahman thou art. Meditate this in your mind. Going to the 258th verse. Janma vriddhi parinatya pakshaya vyadhinashana vihinam avyayam vishvasrishtya vighata karanam Brahma tattvamasi bhavayatmani. Together. Janma vriddhi parinatya pakshaya vyadhinashana vihinam avyayam vishvasrishtya vighata karanam Brahma tattvamasi bhavayatmani. Brahma tattvamasi bhavayatmani. That which is changeless and so free from birth, growth, development, waste, disease, and death, which is indestructible and the cause for creation, maintenance, and dissolution of the universe. Yeah, you are the cause for everything. That Brahman you are. Meditate on this in your mind. Yeah. Now going to the 259th verse, which will be taking the meaning of. Astabhedam anapasta lakshanam nistaranga jalarashi nischalam nitya mukta Tamavibhakta murti yat Brahma tattvamasi bhavayatmani. Together. Astabhedam anapastalakshanam nistaranga jalarashi nischalam nityamuktam avibhaktamurtiyat brahma tattvamasi bhavayatmani brahma tattvamasi bhavayatmani. Meditate on that Brahman, which is you yourself, yeah, which is Astabhedam. Astabhedam means all differences, Bhedas are all ended. Asta means Astamanam, that which is gone, that which is ended. All the differences have ended. Whenever we say Bheda, we have to remember 3 types of differences. Sajatiya, Vijatiya, Swagata Bheda. So, Swajatiya Bheda, Sajatiya and Vijatiya. So, Vijatiya means a tree is different from an animal. Animal is different from a man. Man is different from a bird, etc., etc. Those kind of differences are called as Vijatiya, different kind of. Sajatiya means even when you take animals, there are so many different animals themselves. So a pig is not an elephant, elephant is not a monkey, etc., etc. That is Sajatiya Bheda. And then Swagata Bheda. If you take just one person or one animal, even in that there are all these different parts. You know, the head is not like nose, the head is not like the shoulder is not like the hand is not like the leg, etc. That is called as Swagata Bheda. So all these Astabhedam, because it is one without a second, none of these Bhedas are there. There is no differences at all. Anapasta Lakshanam. At the same time, it has the characteristics of never being non-existent. It has always been existent. Otherwise, you think that, oh, it is something that is non-existent. No, it is always existent. So, all the differences are disappear. But it by itself, it never disappears. Okay, it is always there. It is pure existence. Okay, so the next word is very interesting. Nistaranga jala rashi nischalam. So this is a beautiful, you have to meditate on this. When you are standing on the seashore, and you just are fascinated by all the waves that are rising, coming. I mean, you can just keep on looking at it. We all know that. You can just keep on looking for hours together. But I don't know what that effect of the waves coming, you just totally get lost in that, right? So supposing suddenly by some magic wand, whatever, what happened? The ocean becomes completely still. How will that be? There was one movie in long time ago, in Tamil movie, Thiruvilayadal. In that, this scene comes, Naan ashaindal, patum nane bhavamum nane. There is this beautiful song. So, Naan ashaindal, ashayum ulhamellame, something like that. No? So, when he stops, all the sea it just stops like that. The birds that are flying, they all stop. So it is like a photographic trick. But then can you imagine if that were to happen? That's what this is. Nistaranga jala rashi nischalam. So the ocean suddenly becomes waveless. Nistaranga. So the pure consciousness, how is it? It is where there are so many thoughts coming. Normally, our mind is all the time. So many things are happening. The mind can never be quiet. Something or the other is happening in the mind. Some thought, whether we like it or not, it just keeps on coming. So, especially when we sit for meditation, what all unnecessary. When I was 5 years old, my friend, somebody was there called Neela. I remember her face comes. Are, who wants to think of her now? But it will come. Yeah, so we all know. So how we wish we could have like a command like this, stop, something like that. So we tell our mind, if we can tell our mind to stop, and then that consciousness is like that, as though all the waves are just completely stopped like that. Nistaranga Jalarashi Nischalam. It's a beautiful shloka to meditate on. And then Nityamuktam. I'm always liberated. Somehow I just thought that I'm bound. It is like the story of that, the man with he used to bring a cow for grazing. And then in the afternoon, he used to sleep. So what he used to do was he used to tie the cow to the nearby tree, and then he would go to sleep. But one day he forgot to bring the rope. So he didn't know what to do. He wanted to sleep because he was very sleepy. So one Swami was passing by, and he went and did namaskaram. He said, why do you look so sad? He said, I forgot to bring the rope, Swamiji, so I cannot go to sleep. He said, that's not a problem. So then what did the Swamiji do? He just came to the cow, and then with his hand, he just went around the cow's neck 3 times, as though he made a tight knot around it. And then he went to the tree, and then he put, with his hand, he just made a gesture 3 times, as though he tied it. And then he told the cow, sit. The cow sat down. He said, now you can sleep for however you want long. The man could not believe. He said, my cow won't, nothing, I'm telling you. So then he went to sleep, and nicely he slept for 2 hours. When he woke up, the cow was still sitting and chewing the cud. So then he was so happy. Now he said to the cow, okay, come on, let's go. The cow won't get up. He didn't know what to do. Come on. He keeps on saying it won't get up. He didn't know what to do. He looked running. He went running, and then he saw that the Swami was sitting under a tree somewhere, and he was taking rest too. So he went and told the Swami, Swami, what you did was right. He went to, he sat down, but my cow sat down, but now she's not getting up. What shall I do? The Swami said, did you untie the cow? The man said, but there is nothing to tie. Nothing is tied. Why should I have to untie? No, you have to untie. Then only she will get up. So the Swami came, and as though untying it, he just said, opened it, and then went to the tree, opened it, and then now he said, get up. And then immediately the cow got up. So we are all like that. We all are thinking that we are now bandha, but we are not. It is only our ajnanam that makes us think that we are bound. So this says that Nityamuktam, you are ever liberated. Avibhaktam. So there is no change in you. Avibhakta Murti, undivided, indivisible. That's what you are. Akhanda. Nityamukta Avibhakta Murti yat. That you are. That Brahman you are. So again and again, these are all different ways to get, you can meditate on different ways. In the 259th verse, let us see. Ekameva sadaneka karanam karanantara nirasa karanam karya karana vilakshanam swayam Brahma tattvamasi bhavayatmani. Together. Ekameva sadaneka karanam karanantara nirasa karanam karya karana vilakshanam swayam Brahma tattvamasi bhavayatmani. Brahma tattvamasi bhavayatmani. Meditate on that Brahman in your heart. It says, Ekameva Sat, that pure existence which is one without a second. Aneka Karanam, but it is the cause for all this entire plurality of this word. Karanantara Nirasa Karanam. It is the cause which does not admit any other cause. Yeah? Karanantara Nirasa Karanam. And then it says Karya Karana Vilak. All these are pun on the words. Karya Karana Vilakshanam. It is different from the cause and effect. Yeah. So many times, we can appreciate that Brahman is not an effect of anything, but generally we think that it is a cause for everything. Okay. So when we say it is a cause, then there must be modification. But there is no modification. So there is no cause at all. Everything is an appearance only in that Brahman. Yeah. So it cannot be a cause. So this is what the Karya Karana Vilakshanam Swayam. That Brahman you are. Now, again and again, we have to understand the implications are far-reaching. Suppose you really meditate and come to know that I'm neither the cause nor the effect, then all the problems are all over. Because we are suffering, because we are thinking that we did some karma, this is the karma phala that I have to, go through all these things, because we are thinking that we are this jiva, and that is why we are suffering. See, we have heard about great Mahatmas like Ramana Maharshi and all. They also had physical problems, right? All these great Mahatmas. But none of them thought that it was any problem. Why? Why do we think that it is a problem? Why do they not think like that? Because they're thinking from different state. How we are all in this jiva hood, and that is why everything bothers us. But once you go to that state, nothing bothers you. You are not a victim, because otherwise we always think that I'm a victim of destiny. None of us is a victim. You are the master. Otherwise you become a miserable creature. Yeah? You are not a miserable creature, but Karya Karana Vilakshanam. Okay. So these are all beautiful shlokas. Brahma Tattvam iti bhavaya atmani. Then in the 261, let us just read it. Nirvikalpakam analpam aksharam yat charakshara vilakshanam param nityam avyaya sukham niranjanam brahma tattvamasi bhavayatmani. Next one. Yad vibhati sadanekadha brahmat nama rupa guna vikriyatmana hemavat swayam avikriyam sada brahma tattvamasi bhavayatmani. Brahma Tattvamasi bhavayatmani. So, Brahma Tattvam asi. You are that Brahman. So, any shloka. Why any shloka? Any one word is enough for us to get this. So, these are only facilitating our mind's mood to go there. So, think in this way. So keep on going along with the words. Let your mind go with that, and then you will get absorbed in it. So like, in an art gallery, when you have a picture, from one side you look, from the other side you look, from the other side, but the same picture is there. Like that, these are all different angles. Like when you say that diamond is there, it is cut from different angles, and then it gives different luster at different angles. So this is all like an art gallery. You can just think like that. So this is the hem. And then in the next one, it says, Hemavat Swayam Avikriyam. So the gold in all the different gold ornaments, there is no change at, in this one only, 262. How it is never changing. The one gold appears as a necklace. The same gold appears as earrings. The same gold appears as bangles, but that which is the same. So we all look different, we all behave differently, but then actually we are that Brahmanan only. So if we can understand that, then we can go in that direction. Swayam avikriyam. Intrinsical change does not happen at all. There is no change at all. It is only apparent change. Okay. So when it is, when you understand that, then you can understand the story. When, as you know, when Parikshit was born in Bhagavatam, he was born as almost because of that, when he was in the womb of mother, that Ashwathama's thing, that Astra was burning like anything. So he was born in a carbon form almost. So mother started crying, Uttara started crying. So then one great Mahatma came and he said that any Naishtika Brahmachari, if he can come and touch this baby, the one who has not even thought of any kind of woman or anything like that, a brahmachari, if he takes this baby, he will be all right. There were many sannyasis there. Nobody came forward because thinking they might have done, so they were all very afraid. Nobody came. But this Krishna, only 16,000 wives or 16, lots of, he comes forward because one Krishna, but he totally is unattached to anything. All his actions are totally done in an unattached way. Beautiful life of Krishna, we can just see in that. He comes without batting his eyelid and takes the baby, and the baby becomes all right. So this is what the beauty of this whole thing is, that you have to understand that you are nothing but that Brahman alone. So with this, you have to go deeper and deeper. There are so many different things that we can understand. And then if you remain in that Buddhi Guha, as it is called, even though it's in the heart, you just say as Atma, then it says if you enter this Guha, this cave, then you don't have to enter the cave of Anga Guha. Anga Guha means in the womb of another mother. That means you will get liberation in this Janma itself. You don't have to be born again. There is no Punarapi Jananam, Punarapi Maranam, Punarapi Janani, Jatare Shayanam, Iha Samsare, Bahudustare, Kripaya Pare, Pahi Murare. There is no another Janma. You will be liberated. There is no doubt about it. Yeah? So these are the beautiful shlokas. So let us start from 254 to 263. Let us. Everybody together. Jati niti kula gotra duragam nama rupa guna dosha varjitam desha kala vishayati vartiyat brahma tattvamasi bhavayatmani yat param sakala vaga gocharam vimala bodha chakshusha shuddha chidghana manadi vastu yat brahma tattvamasi bhavayatmani षड्भिरूर्मि भिरा योगी योगी कृत भावितं न करणैर्विभावितं बुद्ध्यवेद्यमनवद्यमस्ति यत् ब्रह्म तत्त्वमसि भावयात्मनि भ्रान्ति कल्पित जगत्कलाश्रयम् स्वाश्रयं च सदसद्विलक्षणं निष्कलं निरुपमानवद्धीयत् ब्रह्म तत्त्वमसि भावयात्मनि जन्म वृद्धि परिणत्य पक्षया व्याधिनाशन विहीनमव्ययम् विश्वसृष्ट्यवविघात कारणम् ब्रह्म तत्त्वमसि भावयात्मनि अस्तभेदम् अनपास्तलक्षणम् निस्तरङ्गजलराशि निश्चलम् नित्यमुक्तमविभक्तमूर्ति यत् ब्रह्म तत्त्वमसि भावयात्मनि एकमेव सदनेक कारणम् कारणांतर निरास कारणम कार्य कारण विलक्षणम स्वयं ब्रह्म तत्वमसि भावयात्मनि निर्विकल्पकम अनल्पम अक्षरम यक्षराक्षर विलक्षणम परम नित्यम अव्यय सुखम निरंजनम ब्रह्म तत्वमसि भावयात्मनि यत् विभाति सदनेकधा भ्रमात् नाम रूप गुण विक्रियात्मना हेमवत् स्वयं विक्रियं सदा ब्रह्म तत्वमसि भावयात्मनि यच्च कास्त्यन परं प्रत्यगेकरसमात्मलक्षणं सत्यचित् सुखम् अनन्तमव्ययम् ब्रह्म तत्वमसि भावयात्मनि ब्रह्म तत्वमसि भावयात्मनि ब्रह्म तत्वमसि भावयात्मनि. May the Lord's grace and the Pujya Gurudev's blessings be with us, and let us all get into this, move into this, doing this sadhana. And after this, there are so many shlokas, Amma, you may ask. This is all like more and more of how the vasanas have to be removed. Because if the vasana kshaya does not take place, we cannot meditate properly. So all those, how adhyasa, the superimposition, is the one that is making us not realize this. So how to remove the adhyasa? That also, the teacher just goes into the details of everything. And then he says what will happen when you do this nididhyasanam, then how the realization takes place and how the jivan mukti happens. In other words, you can get realization while you are living. Yeah, that will happen. And what is the jivan mukta purusha lakshanam? What are the characteristics of a jivan mukta purusha? Because sometimes you may think, maybe I am that. No? So then you have to really consult whether you have all these qualifications or not. Yeah. Then the student is asked to do this. The student actually gets liberated. In this series, you will find that the student does it and he becomes liberated. The teacher is so happy. The teacher blesses, and the teacher also leaves because he is not attached to the student. The student is not attached to the teacher. Everybody goes their own way now to continue their journey. So this is the beautiful, the whole drama just finishes like that. And then the last shloka, let us read this, 581st shloka. संसाराध्वनि पाप भानु किरण प्रोद्भूत दाह व्यथा खिन्नानां जलकांक्षया मरुभुवि भ्रान्त्या परिभ्राम्यताम् अत्यासन्न सुधाम्बुधिं सुखकरम् ब्रह्माद्वयं दर्शयत् येषा शंकर भारती विजयते निर्वाण संदायिनी येषा शंकर भारती विजयते निर्वाण संदायिनी. For those who are afflicted in this samsara by the burning pains caused by the scorching sun rays of the threefold sorrows, Adhyatmika, Adi Daivika, and Adi Bhautika, and those who in delusion roam in a desert in search of water. Yeah? For them, here is the glorious message of Shankara, pointing out the ocean of nectar, the non-dual Brahman, within easy reach in order to lead to liberation. So the phalam of this, phalastuti, is that one will get liberation once you follow all this, the whole beautifully. He almost holds us by the hand and he leads us. Shankara is just at its best in this. So you can just enjoy each and every shloka, and we couldn't do justice to all of them, but whatever we can just get an idea as to how great this whole text is. In these 5 days, we could do that much. We never end it with the last shloka because it always is continuous. So we'll read the first shloka, which we always do, Sarva Vedanta, and finish today's. Sarva Vedanta Siddhanta Gocharam Tama Gocharam Govindam Paramanandam Satgurum Pranatosmyaham. Satgurum Pranatosmyaham. Remember, the second one is also beautiful. Jantunam Narajanma Durlabham Ataha Pumstvam Tato Viprata Tasmat Vaidika Dharma Marga Parata. All those things. How we all have come to the end almost. So don't think this is unreachable. We are all there almost. Last push has to be given. The very fact that we are in this, the thought of having Viveka Chudamani shows that we are in the last lap. So once you have come up to this, don't feel that, this is so difficult. Absolutely not. Okay. So we all have come up to this only by our Gurudev's grace. Because otherwise, if he had not brought it to all of us, where would we have listened to Viveka Chudamani like this? There is no way we could have listened to him. So it is only by his grace that we have come up to this, and he is seeing to it that he is just pushing us from behind. That's very, very, evident. He won't leave you. Once he catches you, he won't leave you until you get the mukti. So let us all be basking in his glory, and let us all take up this as our, whole life's mission, and we all should get realized. Okay. And may his grace and may the God's blessings also be with us. Thank you very much for this beautiful opportunity. So I want to thank all of the organizers who have taken time, and all the children who have sung. It becomes a beautiful way of starting the whole lecture. So it was a beautiful way of doing it. And for Vishala, and for Satish, and Sujana, and Suresh, and Ganesh, and Sheila, and all the rest of you. If I have omitted anybody's name, please excuse me. So all of you have done a wonderful job. It has been very nice, very fulfilling. Thank you very much. May God's grace and Pujya Gurudev's blessings be with all of us. Hari Om.
Hari Om, Amma. And Hari Om to all of you. So before a formal vote of thanks, we would like to relive some memories with Sharda Amma through some pictures. For those who have been with CMP for a long time, this will be a nice walk down memory lane. And for others, you will be able to see how much Sharda Amma has been a factor in where CMP is today. And Sharda Amma, you mentioned how difficult it was for you to pick a handful of verses out of the 500 plus verses in Viveka Chudamani. I was able to actually feel that pain to a certain extent, because even for me, it was very difficult to pick a handful of pictures of you out of so many that we have. So without further delay, let us get into.
Let me finish with Purnamada, and then we can see that. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om. Thank you. to all those people who have been attending, and those people who have also not turned on the video, doesn't matter. You are all there, so we are all very happy to. Thank you.
Wonderful. So, Sharadama, our gratitude to you. And here are a few pictures. So, Amma very lovingly mentioned a lot of instances where she interacted with the Gurudev. So, Sharadama, these are some pictures that I found, and I need to thank Vidya for providing these pictures during our Mahasamadhi camp. So, pictures were on display and many more as well. Amma, what are you serving here? Do you remember?
I think sambar for dosha or something. I don't know.
Here is Guruji as well. We can see.
Yes, yes. And Guruji would not want to eat in front of Gurudev. So he would say, no, I don't want it. And Gurudev will say, give me one more. And he will take it and then put it in Guruji's plate. And Guruji will say, oh, what is this? So it used to be a lot of fun watching that. So it was such a fun time to cook for Gurudev, and the way he used to enjoy the food and all that. And then the one where I'm sitting with him on that that one, that is what happened is we had gone to listen to his radio talk in New York. This must have been in 94 or something. I don't know, not 94, 74, 1974 it was. And in New York, he was giving the radio talk. And then suddenly he said, do you know any Pratasmarana Shlokam? And I knew only a Lalita Pratasmaranam. I didn't even know that he was asking me to say about that, Atman Pratasmaranam. So then I said yes. And then he said, Chumma ukarangama. And then he made me sit, and then I had to chant that before his talk. So I was so scared that I was just trying to sit as far away from him. These are all different memories. Beautiful. Yes. Thank you.
And here is Shardama at CMP.
Oh.
This is the Hanuman Chalisathon. And Vijay is, I think, giving the introduction to Amma, and Amma is actually pulling his leg very nicely. Here is one of the Balaviyar teacher training that Shardama provided. And there is no way that we can explain about Hanuman Chalisa without sharing this video. So there were 108 times that Hanuman Chalisa had to be chanted, and Shardama chanted each and every one of those. And here's a small clip where one chant is ending and the second one is actually starting. You can see the energy. I'm going to play it. So that was the 90th time that it was being chanted. And Sharadama, this was a quick picture from that day, the Hanuman Chalisathon. And this is the Chinmaya Mission Ann Arbor gang at the Mahasamadhi camp, which was held in 2019. You can see many of these volunteers who are attending this Jnana Yajna right now. So a very, very fun gang from Chinmaya Mission Ann Arbor. And I had the good fortune of visiting Amma in March of 2019 as part of inviting various Chinmaya Mission centers. And I had the privilege to follow Shardama and her volunteers to 4 Balaviyar sessions on a weekend, Saturday and Sunday. And each and every session, Shardama would have a meeting with them, take attendance, ask how they are doing and all of that. And then I do remember in this case, Sharadam, I don't know whether you remember whether this person he was coming back from a surgery, and I know that you had asked him and you also told him to take it easy and relax, but he said, "I'm absolutely fine. I just want to get back into the mix." So loving everyone was, and we could see the love and respect for Sharda Amma. And here are four group pictures from those four Balavihar events that was done on March 30th and March 31st of 2019. And on March 30th, after the first Balavihar was done, before the second Balavihar, Amma had a grand reception here. I thought that Amma was actually throwing me a surprise because I was there. Then she told me that it's my birthday today. So March 30th, on that day, it was Amma's birthday, and all of her volunteers, they all threw a surprise lunch for her. It was cold, but it just did not matter. Everyone was so happy, and I just felt that love and affection from everyone. And I got a privileged seat here, served by almost like 50 people. Delicious lunch that day. So as she's entering, as you can see here, people are all waiting, and they were like, "Surprise, happy birthday," and so on. And here's a group picture of all of them, smiling faces, beautiful. And one of the volunteers, they made a cake for Sharda Amma, and look at this. This is all handmade. And incidentally, Sharda Amma is actually wearing the same attire right over here. And what I also did is, I know that just before one of the sessions that started, I had to invite everyone to Pittsburgh camp, and just to make things lighter, what I did is I just said, I'm really thankful to Sharda Amma because she has agreed to come to Pittsburgh and stay with us for the next 3 months. You should see the look on all of those faces. And I just said, "Hey, April Fool." They are so attached to Sharda Amma that even at the mention that I'm going to take her away for 3 months to be in Pittsburgh, they just could not take it. And here's a Mahasamadhi camp pen that we had, and Amma is posing with that. At the end of those four Balavihar sessions, I asked Amma, where do you get the energy from? And she looked at me and said, "Ganesh, it's all because of devotion to Balaji. We are all very, 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 very devoted to Balaji." And I said, "Oh, that's great." The next thing that she explained, it just brought tears to my eyes, because Balaji is the name of a restaurant. And we had a hearty meal that day. And it's such seriousness, she said, "We're all devoted to Balaji. He gives us the power." And now we know what was that power. So just before leaving for Pittsburgh, we had a hearty meal that day. You could see Sesh and Shiv Kumar and Sangeeta, Ranjini, everyone. So I just had a great time. And this is Uncle as well. This is on Saturday, early morning, before they left for the first Balavihar of that weekend. So our heartfelt gratitude to Amma. Now, before Uncle is there. Namaskar, Uncle. So on behalf of CMP, teachers, volunteers, children, and parents, I would now like to offer our heartfelt gratitude to Sharda Amma for conducting this Jnana Yajna on Viveka Chudamani. Acharya Shankara's words are known to be brutal, blunt, and direct. But I'm sure you all will agree that just like Bhagwan Shiva reduced the intensity and fury of Mother Ganga by his compassionate intervention, Sharda Amma too, just like a compassionate mother, explained the Vedantic concepts to us in such a loving way, with, I must add, a childlike enthusiasm as well. I shared some pictures just now to show how much Amma means to us here at CMP, but the fact is, whoever comes in contact with Amma, be it a center, be it a volunteer, teacher, child, parent, she makes them feel very, very special. For those of you who don't know, I think it's my duty to add that Sharda Amma is the force behind the Balavihar program, the way we see it here in the US today. 40 years back, Sharda Amma, on Puja Gurudev's instructions, took her Balavihar training in India, And then just like Hanumanji went about carrying out Bhagwan Rama's command, Sharda Amma set out to sow the seeds of Balavihar in this great country. As I heard someone say, the Balavihar program that we see here in the US is far more organized and structured than anywhere else. So if we have to thank anyone after Gurudev for this divine gift, it is Sharda Amma. In just 5 days, Amma gave us an excellent overview of this great text, starting with the rarity of human birth to the real goal of human life, the means to achieve that goal, the importance of the Guru, the true qualifications of a student, the various sadhanas that the Vedantic seeker should undergo, finally culminating with the topic of meditation. Even though Amma must have done this text numerous times, we are extremely grateful to her for leading us on this path in such a remarkable way. Words are limited vehicles of expression when it comes to convey what we really feel when we receive such love and compassion. There are only 3 things that I feel we all can offer to Amma. First, our commitment that we will follow through on the path that we explained through this Jnana Yajna. Second, our heartfelt gratitude to her for everything she has done and continues to do. And finally, our prayers to Ishvara and to Gurudev to give Amma good health and more Shakti so that she can continue to guide us and many more seekers in the years to come. Amma, here in Viveka Chudamani, the disciple asked one question with 7 parts. We here at CMP have just one simple question for you. When? When will Amma come here to Pittsburgh?
When the Lord decides, we'll see. Yeah, wonderful. Thank you so much for all the beautiful pictures. And I really enjoyed seeing them. Lot of good memories. I can't even believe that you really thought of this as a finale for this. I had no idea. You are really very enterprising. May God bless you all.
And Amma, I was able to do that because I know that you won't twist my ear. So that's why I was able to do it. We're all remote. So that's why.
Zoom, you can do anything and everything. Good.
Satish Vishala, back to you.
Hari Om Amma, I'm going to start Aarti now. Aarati Shri Chinmaya Sadguru ki Divya Rupa Murati Karuna ki Aarati Sadguru ki चरणों में उनके शांति समाये शरणागति की भ्रांति मिटाए पाप ताप संताप हरण की आरती श्री चिन्मय सद्गुरु की आरती सद्गुरु की वेद उपनिषद गीता को गाया धर्म सनातन फिर से जगाया शुद्ध नीति प्रीति शंकर की आरती श्री चिन्मय सद्गुरु की आरती सद्गुरु की सिद्ध बारिके तपो भूमि में नित्य विराजे गुरु हमारे भक्त हृदय आनंद स्रोत की आरती श्री चिन्मय सद्गुरु की आरती सद्गुरु की आरती सद्गुरु की Hari Om Amma.
Hari Om, beautiful.
Hari Om Amma.
But we have to, we're going to miss you. So I don't know, I'll call you again maybe in a month or so to get my next date with you.
Tomorrow we'll meet again for the...
Yes, that's, for Devi Satsang, definitely.
Yes. Okay. So see you all tomorrow.
See you.
Have a great. Thanks a lot for everything. Hari Om.
Hari Om.
Hari Om.
Hari Om.
Hari Om. Love you all.
Hari Om. Jai Shri Krishna here.
Hari Om. Hari Om. Hari Om.
Hari Om Dharmarajan. Hari Om.
Hari Om Kumar. கொஞ்ச நாள் ஆச்சு உங்களை பார்த்து.
And Pushpa, nice to see you too. Very nice. Malini, I also saw so many people today. Not seen all of you this week. Very
Sorry,
nice.
Auntie, I missed a few things because of vacation. I'm going to go back and listen to the recording. So nice to, I dialed in yesterday. We were driving back. So nice to see you, Auntie. Thank you.
Nice to see you. Your son was very good. Thanks a lot.
Your
Wonderful.
blessings, Auntie. Thank you.
Very nice. Everyone, thanks a lot for all the encouragement and coming every day. Wonderful. Wish you all the best. Yeah. And
Hari Om, Mama.
tomorrow, if you can join in, that will be wonderful. Yeah. Hari Om.